we celebrate Black Catholic History Month, we continue to reflect on Black Catholics on the road to canonization. Today, we remember Venerable Augustus Tolton. Augustus was born the son of slaves on April 1st, 1854 in eastern Missouri. His parents were devout Catholics and had him baptized on the plantation. He himself narrowly escaped slavery by moving with his mother and siblings to Quincy, Illinois, a major stop on the Underground Railroad. There, the local Catholic priest welcomed Gus, as he was called, growing up to join the parish school despite much opposition from the parishioners. At a young age, Gus knew that God was calling him to be a priest. He was affirmed in his calling by numerous priests and religious along the way. However, Tolton knew the odds were stacked against him, as men of color were not allowed into seminaries. Nonetheless, with deep faith and the help of his pastor, Gus applied to every seminary in the United States. He was denied acceptance by every single one. Finally, though, his pastor was able to gain him admission at a seminary in Rome for missionaries. Moving to Rome, Tolton figured that he would be sent to the missions in Africa to serve as a priest. So Tolton devoted himself to his studies and took it upon himself to study the geography and cultures of Africa. In God's providence, Gus would meet a cardinal named Giovanni Simeoni. Seeing something special in Tolton, he made an inspired decision the night before Tolton was ordained a priest that he would return to serve as a priest, not in Africa, but in the United States. As he made this announcement, Cardinal Simeoni exclaimed, "America has been called the most enlightened nation. We will see if it deserves that honor. If America has never seen a Black priest, it has to see one now." In 1886, Father Tolton returned to his hometown of Quincy, being assigned to the Negro Church of St. Joseph. And America did, in fact, for the first time, witness an identifiably Black man dressed as a Catholic priest. Father Tolton was so holy, and his singing, preaching, and manner of celebrating the Mass was so inspired that his parish was soon filled to capacity with Black and white people alike. Even non-Catholics would attend his Masses at times. The Spirit of God was bringing people together through Father Tolton in an unprecedented way. However, not everybody liked what good Father Gus, as he was affectionately called, was doing. He was met with racial prejudice and hostility by clergy and lay people alike. One church leader in Quincy demanded that Tolton only minister to Black people or leave Quincy. The Black Protestant ministers opposed Father Tolton, not wanting him to attract members of the Black community. However, like Christ, Father Tolton never reciprocated any of the hatred aimed at him. 3 years later, Father Tolton requested a transfer to serve in another parish in Chicago. Not so much because he was running away from the troubles, but so that he would have a chance at having an effective ministry. Nonetheless, Father Gus left Quincy feeling like a complete failure. Arriving in Chicago, he was made the pastor of a small community of about 30 Black Catholics who were gathering in various temporary facilities. Through Father Tolton's tireless prayer and efforts, he would raise funds to build a beautiful church, which come to serve 600 Black and white parishioners. At the same time, Father Gus was traveling around the country, speaking on behalf of the plight of Black people in America. He exhausted himself so much in his ministry that after just returning from a retreat by train, he collapsed on a street corner and died shortly thereafter on July 9th, 1897, at the young age of 43. Over 100 priests attended his funeral despite the tensions of the day. The late Cardinal Francis George came to know about Father Tolton when he became Archbishop of Chicago. The more he learned, the more he was convinced of his holiness and his importance to the American church. And so, in 2014, he officially began the cause for Father Tolton's canonization. In doing so, Cardinal George stated that in all the things he had done in his 17 years as Archbishop of Chicago, promoting Father Tolton's cause for sainthood was one of the most important, if not the most important thing he had done. At the end of his life, when Jesus was lowered from the cross, his battered and crucified body was placed in the arms of his mother. Similarly, Father Tolton fell to the ground in Chicago at a young age, his body exhausted by loving service and a lifetime of senseless opposition. His mother, Martha Jane, suffered losing her son and mourned him as she attended his funeral and continued life without him.